How do you define nationalism?
I would define nationalism as a feeling of usually pride um, from a group of people that live in a particular area because of a shared history or culture, um, and um, and it's kind of like they have, yeah, it's like a pride or I don't know.
Thank you. What do you know about nationalism?
Well, what I know about nationalism, I guess, is through kind of the experiences that I've had in my life, whether that's and or reading the news or knowing things about history. You have like a country like the United States that oozes their nationalism wherever you see it, whether that means they're waving their flags. In Canada, we have the nationalism, the experience of nationalism for some of our sports teams or the Olympics. And then I've had experiences in other countries, like the country that I come from in Israel, where you have also lots of nationalism.
Thank you. Can you please think of some examples of nationalism? And if you can, please elaborate.
Okay. So examples of nationalism, if we talk about the United States, they are always boasting of their achievements, of the American achievements, about the United States being kind of the best at so many things, whether that means their democracy, whether that means their military might, whether that means all their athletic achievements. That would be some examples of nationalism. Others examples of nationalism would have been going back to the Second World War and German nationalism, and how that kind of ran into all kinds of different issues. I don't know if you want me to say anything more about that.
Thank you. What do you think some of the causes and consequences of nationalism can be?
Well, causes and consequences can be both good and bad. So, a cause for nationalism could be something related to a shared history. So, for example, I'm going to go back to the United States. A cause for the nationalism was because they rebelled against the British Empire. And so they had kind of a unified feeling of pride for doing that. And that would be like probably the initial cause for their nationalism. A cause for Canadian nationalism could be probably more related to pride in hockey, for example, because we're so good at hockey and we have achieved so much in the world, and we're so much better than so many parts of the world, that we have a real pride around our hockey and the collective benefits of that. Consequences of nationalism could be again, going to the United States, because they are so nationalistic. They put so much effort into and money, especially money, into things that they can make them successful in the eyes of the world. So they've gone to the moon, for example, and they've gone to race against when they went to the moon, they were racing against Russia to be there first. And that's I forgot what the question was.
What were some of the causes and consequences of nationalism can be?
Oh, okay. So I think that's a good thing, but the negative of that is that they spend a heck of a lot of money on the space program that could probably be utilized in other things. Another consequence can be when you have so much nationalism that you want to take whatever that pride is into your into your country and say that you want to bring it someplace else. And sometimes that takes away from the other country's sovereignty and ways of life.
Thank you. Do you think nationalism can be dangerous?
Oh, yeah, that's a good dovetail. I think it can be extremely dangerous when it's unfettered. It can be, again, Germany is a perfect example of where nationalism went too far, in which, that gets coupled with, racism and the ideal of what is a nation. So in Germany, the ideal is that it would be Aryan, and so everything that was different from that, it was considered something less, and people didn't do very well in that experience. Or down in the United States right now, where you see the Make America Great, that is a perfect example of the negative consequence of where, again, groups were identified as being not American enough. And so what was American? What it was to make it, great again. So if you were Mexican, or if you were a refugee, or you came from a Muslim country, then, then there's a negative aspect to that.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, okay. Thank you.